So this one started off as what might be just one of those weird Florida rich guy coincidences. There was Donald Trump sitting there in a picture with the woman who was the founding owner of the massage parlor where New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft was accused of soliciting prostitutes. And what was the president doing while that photograph was taken? Watching Robert Kraft's team win the Super Bowl again. And then more pictures of Li Yang, who also goes by the name Cindy, emerged with more Trumps, like Donald Trump Jr., and more Trump teammates like Florida Trump fanatic Congressman Matt Gaetz, and former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Then came official reporting by David Corn at Mother Jones indicating that Cindy Yang was selling access to President Trump and the Trump administration officials at Mar-a-Lago, where she is a member. David Corn and his team at Mother Jones copied the website that Cindy Yang used to advertise her access to the president before that website was taken down. And another lawyer has decided to go public in the Stormy Daniels case. Stormy Daniels' original lawyer, who negotiated the payoff agreement with Michael Cohen to keep Stormy Daniels quiet about her affair with Donald Trump during the presidential campaign, told ABC this morning that the deal for Stormy Daniels' silence was rushed after the Access Hollywood video of Donald Trump came out.
The Access Hollywood tape was the motivating factor in this case actually resolving. It defeats the argument that this was done for purely personal reason and that this was in fact done for political reasons.
Joining our discussion now, conservative writer Jennifer Rubin, an op-ed writer at The Washington Post and an MSNBC contributor, and Jason Johnson, politics editor at TheRoot.com. He's a professor of politics and media at Morgan State University. He's also an MSNBC political analyst. And Jennifer, we always say, in any other presidency, the pictures with the woman who runs the massage parlor where Robert Kraft...
You know, people get lost because there's so many women, there's so many checks. Which lawyer is this? Which check was this? Which of the two was this? Was this the guy with the National Enquirer? Or is this the other one? And this is the problem with the president, is that they are so corrupt in every possible way, morally, sexually, politically, intellectually, ethically, that there is just such a plethora that they sort of hide in plain sight, that the stuff comes up and he just kind of goes along. And, you know, to your earlier segment, I think the things that really matter to them are when he turns on them, when he turns on ordinary Americans and does something to them. And I think there are a segment of Americans who live inside that Fox bubble who do not care about this. The rest of us out in the real world walking around have pretty much made up our mind that this guy is bad news in every possible way. And so these things just don't change the needle. And I think, you know, maybe Nancy Pelosi is right. We're just going to have to resolve all of this in 2020 because otherwise it's never going to end.
And Jason, first of all, there's the up-and-running, seemingly criminal enterprise called Mar-a-Lago, yes. A place where the president can charge you money that goes into his pocket for talking to him. There's a lot of politicians who've wanted to be able to charge you money legally for talking to them. It turns out you can't. It turns out the Constitution anticipated this. This is part of the emoluments challenge that Professor Tribe and others have brought against this presidency that may take a while to be adjudicated. But here are people at Mar-a-Lago paying money to get access to the president. This is just one story, right. One of the stories of what's happening.
Oh, and Lawrence, it's not just people paying to get access to the president. We're all paying for it, too, yeah. Right? Because the increased national security on every single property that has his name on it comes out of my pocket, your pocket, and everybody else's pockets. We are paying for his own corruption. And I think that's the thing that's most disturbing to me about all of this. Look, it's clear Miss Yang doesn't own the particular location where Robert Kraft, you know, got in trouble. She doesn't own it now. But there are accusations that other of her massage parlors have been involved in this sort of thing. And it really makes you question, you know, why is it that everybody around the president seems to be defiled in some shape, way, or form? I mean, she's essentially following the family business of selling access to him. It's the same thing Jared's doing. It's the same thing that Ivanka might be doing. So that's what really concerns me, that the president and everyone around him is so up for sale that we don't know what kind of information they could be giving back to these people in access.
And in her case, there's major national security issues that could be involved with her particular access for Chinese officials.
Absolutely. She's essentially a mouthpiece for China and has been on this sort of propaganda campaign against Taiwan, which is an ally. You know, one of the things that's also bothersome is that there is a quid pro quo. Right. He put a bunch of those people in positions at the VA. That is the quintessential quid pro quo. You pay me $100,000 for membership, come and chat with me, and I'll give you a position in government. I don't think there's anything that's more blatant than that. So, you know, that's like 10th down level of scandals and financial corruption. You know, maybe there's somebody else who's looking into that one. The Southern District of New York guys are busy with their stuff, and Mueller's busy with his stuff. But there is so much in Florida. I think we got to get, you know, whichever district court is involved there, the prosecutors in Florida going.
Yeah, and Jason, on Nancy Pelosi's quote about she's not for impeachment, she gave that a week ago. She gave it in the middle of last week to the Washington Post. It just got published tonight. And it shows you the risks of commenting on this in a way that isn't in real time, because even the ground underneath that quote has changed by the time you get to Monday, and you have Stormy Daniels' original lawyer saying, oh, yeah, this was very specifically timed to interfere with and affect and control the outcome of the election.
So there's a couple things with this, Lawrence. Number one, I think Speaker Pelosi has a very clear plan. She's going to say, I don't want to do impeachment, so that she can act totally surprised about whatever comes out in the Mueller report. She has to pretend that that's going to convince her, because that's the only way she's going to be able to sell this to the public, because it's going to be a long, very, very ugly process. As far as Stormy Daniels goes, I mean, the more we find out about this case, the more we find out that, look, if the president had been smart, if he was surrounded by smart people, he could have just hired her as a consultant. The fact that he could have created a Hide My Mistress super PAC, and he could have gotten away with this. The fact that he does this out of his personal money and doesn't admit that he uses this for campaign purposes shows that we not only have a corrupt president, but also a dumb one, and that's part of the problem.
And signs the checks in the White House while committing the crime. And I have to leave it there. Jennifer Rubin and Jason Johnson, thank you both for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.